I always had a love for cooking. I just love being able to make these meals for them. They feel special because you remember what they like. It's such a good feeling. I love being with the residents. This is a place where I would want my mom and dad to be.
Call today.
Hello and welcome to another summer best of edition of Reel to Reel. I'm your host, Sharon Roulier. My dad, Jimmy, is busy with his bees, but he'll be back again in mid-August. In addition to today's Best of show, we will also speak with Joe Austin, Director of the Office of Missionary Discipleship, about 3 upcoming events, so stay tuned for that. But first, today's Best of show first aired on the weekend of February 15th, 2025, but no need to bundle up this time, just sit back and enjoy. Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Steve Kiltonic in Chicopee, where St. Stanislaus Basilica is celebrating Mary, Mother of Hope, in this, the Jubilee Year of Hope.
I'm Kathy Harrington at the Newman Center on the UMass campus, a holy site welcoming pilgrims for the Jubilee Year.
And the annual Seek Conference brought college students together to grow in their faith. It's all just ahead on this week's edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel, coming to you from Our Lady Seat of Wisdom Chapel at the Newman Center at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. This beautiful chapel was consecrated just 2 years ago, and it's one of 7 locations in the Diocese of Springfield designated as a local Jubilee pilgrimage site by Springfield Bishop William Byrne. This past Monday, Bishop Byrne paid a visit to this holy site. Kathy Harrington was there and has more.
Bishop William Byrne celebrated the noonday Mass at the UMass Newman Center to mark Our Lady Seat of Wisdom Chapel as a holy site for the Jubilee Year of Hope. The theme, Pilgrims of Hope.
Every 25 years, since the 1300s, we've been celebrating a Jubilee, an experience of a focus on some part of God's mercy. This year is a Jubilee of Hope. All different parts of the Jubilee has many different elements. But one of the key elements is a pilgrimage. Now, most of us can't afford to make time to go to Rome this year, to pass through the holy doors.
Inviting Catholics around the world to participate, Pope Francis extended the blessings of the Jubilee year, allowing local bishops to designate pilgrim sites. 7 locations across the Diocese of Springfield are holy sites, where the faithful may receive a plenary indulgence.
We take a journey to remind ourselves that ultimately our journey is to heaven, and that we are on this road called life towards heaven.
To gain the indulgence, pilgrims must go to a holy site, go to confession, receive communion, and pray for the intentions of the Holy Father. The selection of the Newman Center Chapel as a holy site is an opportunity for thousands of students in the 5-college area, as well as a destination for the faithful to see the new chapel.
They might remember the old chapel but not have a chance to come and visit here. And I also think it's so inspiring every time you come here to see all the young people. And as you saw, today was a daily Mass, and the church was full of young students going to praise God in the middle of their day.
Director of the Newman Center, Father Valentine War, says a pilgrimage site on the UMass campus will inspire students.
Not so many of the students will be able to travel to Rome to go through the holy doors, but having a pilgrimage site here at the Newman Center brings it home for them and makes it possible for them to get involved in the pilgrimage and fulfill the requirements to receive the indulgence.
Additional confession times are being added during the Lenten season, after every weekday Mass at the Newman Center and at St. Bridget's.
We want people to have access to confession as much as they can, because it is part of the requirement to receiving the plenary indulgence.
Bishop Byrne describes the indulgence as a true avenue to reach holiness and says if you've received more than one, it can be applied to your loved ones, as well as to all the souls in purgatory. In Amherst, I'm Kathy Harrington for Reel to Reel.
And we have much more on the Jubilee year at diospringfield.org. On Tuesday, February 11th, Catholics celebrated the Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes, a day also designated annually as the World Day for the Sick. To commemorate this day, St. Stanislaus Basilica in Chicopee held a celebration of Mary, Mother of Hope, with a special talk given by conventual Franciscan Father James McCurry. Steve Kiltonick has our story.
On February 11th, St. Stanislaus Basilica, designated as one of the diocesan pilgrimage sites, celebrated its first event of 2025's Jubilee Year of Hope. Sponsored by St. Stanislaus' Rosary Society, the evening celebrated Mary, Mother of Hope, and featured Marian hymns, prayers, and a scriptural rosary. Catholics celebrate two important events on February 11th, the Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes and the World Day of the Sick, which was instituted by Pope John Paul II as a way for believers to offer prayers for those suffering from illnesses. Pope Francis's message for the 33rd World Day of the Sick is, "Hope does not disappoint, but strengthens us in times of trial." Father James McCurry was returning to the public for the first time since recovering from a serious medical condition, spoke on the topic Mary, Mother of Hope. Before his presentation, the scriptural rosary was prayed.
Pope Francis has asked us during the Jubilee year to go to the Bible, to go to the scriptures, and to find new depth in things that we may have read before but not really meditated upon.
And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has regarded the lowliness of his handmaid."
Tonight we
Hail Mary,
meditated
full
on
of
the
grace,
joyful
the Lord is with
mysteries,
thee.
and
Blessed
for
art
each
thou
Hail
among
Mary
women,
we had
and blessed
one
is
little
the fruit
line
of
from
thy
the
womb,
scriptures,
Jesus.
so the people could
Holy
absorb
Mary,
that
Mother of
line
God,
while they're
pray for
praying
us
the Hail
sinners,
Marys.
now at the hour of our death. Amen.
Father McCurry said that if we want to keep hope active in our lives so it positively impacts the way we interact with others, we can all learn a lesson from two words Mary spoke of in the scriptures.
The first word of Our Lady in Latin was fiat, F-I-A-T. It means let it be. And it's when she said to God through the Archangel Gabriel, "Let it be done to me as you say." Namely, I'll become the Mother of God. The second word of Mary that we want to repeat over and over in our hearts is Magnificat. When she went to visit her cousin Elizabeth, she said to Elizabeth, "My soul magnifies, Magnificat, my soul magnifies the Lord." If you ever feel tempted to lose hope about anything, that you just turn to Mother Mary, our Mother of Hope, and ask her to pray her fiat and Magnificat in your heart. She'll do it. She loves to do that.
Kristen Miandoka Debian is president of the Rosary Society. She's a third-generation Rosarian to hold that position.
My grandmother started it along with other people from the parish, and then my mom and my sister also was part of the Rosary Society, and they all passed, so I really felt their presence here this evening. I think with a lot of the things that have gone on in the world, I think we really need to look forward to the year of hope and not say shoulda, coulda, and woulda. We just have to really look to Mary, her love, her unconditional love that she has for us in order to go ahead and find Jesus.
Father McCurry said that during a time when the world has seemed to lose a sense of hope for its future, the Church in this Jubilee year encourages us to radiate hope to others.
Hope has to spring from the depths within ourselves, that God implants hope in every baptized person, and we have to let that hope flourish.
On the feast day of Our Lady of Lourdes, Father McCurry spoke of the miraculous healing waters St. Bernadette uncovered when Mary first appeared before her in 1858.
The message of hope that she brought was linked to healing and to the healing waters that she caused to spring up in Lourdes that are still there today where people go and bathe. So the message of Lourdes was really a message of healing hope.
At the conclusion of the service, Father McCurry sprinkled holy water obtained from one of his many pilgrimages to Lourdes, giving the congregation the grace of healing and hope in their own lives. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonick.
And during this Jubilee Year of Hope, St. Stan's will hold healing masses on the third Tuesday of February, May, August, and November. For a link to this and other events during the Jubilee Year of Hope, we have a link for you at diospringfield.org. And still to come on Reel to Reel, the third annual Diocesan Youth Rally took place last weekend. Nick Morganelli will tell us all about this inspiring and fun event. And Carolee McGrath will highlight a successful marriage renewal program. It's all still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
Joining me now is Joe Austin from the Office of Missionary Discipleship with news of some upcoming youth events. Hi, Joe. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I hope you're having a wonderful summer, but so far I have to say things are not quite relaxing and quiet in your department. Even as this airs, thousands of youth from across the Northeast are at the Mass Mutual Center right here in downtown Springfield as Steubenville East continues.
Yeah, this is definitely the busy season for my office for sure. So yeah, like you said, this weekend we have the Steubenville East Conference, and there's thousands of youth coming from as far south as Pennsylvania all the way through Maine that come to this regional conference for all of New England. And it's a beautiful conference this year because it's the year of the Jubilee. And so we're doing some kind of new things for the conference that we've never done before. Started the conference off with this beautiful Eucharistic procession down the streets of Springfield, starting at the cathedral and ending at Mass Mutual Center. And then the conference has just been full of these incredible speakers and talks, and the band that's playing music, and of course the big moment, which is Saturday night, where all the youth can encounter Jesus present in the Eucharistic procession as they bring Jesus throughout the entire arena to encounter them. So it's just a very transformative experience. This year we also had a bunch of new parishes send groups, and so I'm just excited for the ways in which their youth group is going to explode after Steubenville East. So it's just a really exciting time for the diocese.
Wow, that's great, Joe. You're also planning a number of other youth events, including one in particular that you're excited about coming up on the first Saturday in September at Camp Holy Cross in Goshen, right? A family day.
Definitely, yeah. So the Family Fest is a kind of a new idea. Camp Holy Cross was interested in doing kind of a youth day, and then some other people, a bunch of the young people really wanted a wiffle ball tournament. So we just kind of mixed it all together and made it into this new event called the Diocesan-wide Family Fest. So there will just be like a lot of different activities available at the Family Fest. There'll be a wiffle ball tournament, as I mentioned before. You can definitely register for that in advance if you're interested in participating. The waterfront will be open. We'll have swimming and boating. There'll be a live stage with live music on it kind of throughout the day. There'll be some kind of spiritual talks. There'll be food, lots of food. Everybody loves food.
And Joe, the suggested entrance fee, I understand, is $10 that you can pay in advance at the parking lot, right?
Anyone can attend the event for sure, but we're just charging $10 for just a donation for parking. You can pay for that in advance or at the door. You can also purchase meal passes in advance. I'm definitely recommending for parishes that might want to send a group to Family Fest that can kind of purchase some of the meal packets in advance and then kind of bring a group and just kind of do it that way. A great way for the faithful to get to know Camp Holy Cross. For anyone from across the diocese to come to Camp Holy Cross, experience Camp Holy Cross through this beautiful Diocesan Family Fest.
So there's also the return of both the men's and women's conferences this fall at Bellamy School in Chicopee.
Coming back this fall, we're bringing back the men's women's conferences in a special way in honor of the Jubilee year. The men's conference will take place on October 4th, and the women's conference will take place on November 15th. We have a great range of speakers, great lineup. People come in here to speak. One of them is Bishop's sister, Sister Dee Dee Byrne. She'll be speaking at the men's conference, so we're very excited about that. Also at the men's and women's conferences, we'll have a lot of live music and kind of beautiful liturgical celebrations, again in honor of the Jubilee.
And believe it or not, there are two other events coming up. First, the canonization of Carlo Acutis, which was postponed due to the death of Pope Francis, but his canonization is scheduled for September 7th. What does this mean for other millennials?
So this is a really big moment for the church, and especially for the young church. I've been following him for many years, and many young adults on that side, especially from Frassati Fellowship, Frassati United. There's many young adult groups that are devoted to Frassati, and so it's just a really big moment for him to be canonized at the same time as Blessed Carlo Acutis. And so in a special way, we're going to be celebrating that again at the Family Festival with that closing Mass with Bishop and some other fun activities at Family Festival. So we'll be celebrating that there.
And if all of this hasn't been enough, this coming Monday, you and Father Peter Salik and a contingent of young adults from our diocese will be boarding planes headed to Rome for the Jubilee of Young People, which runs all of this coming week, right?
Yeah, so if you can imagine, the day after is the Steubenville East Conference, and this conference is similar to World Youth Day. It will be attracting probably 1 to 2 million additional people from around the world. And I really mean that from around the world. I mean, you meet people from every country. You just see how big the church is.
All right, Joe Austin, safe travels to you all, and we will keep everyone posted about these events and more coming up this fall on Reel to Reel. Thanks again so much, Joe. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And for more information on all of these events, head over to diospringfield.org. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and last Sunday was World Marriage Day. So with Love in the Air, we focus on the sacrament of marriage. Deacon Jose Correa and his wife have started a ministry for married couples, hosting retreats and meetings, encouraging husbands and wives to keep Christ in the center of their lives. Carolee McGrath has more.
Deacon Jose Correa and his wife Miguelina have been married for 42 years. They have 3 children, 3 grandchildren, and they built their family on a solid foundation.
I am the lucky one, and I'm the lucky one because for me in my life, in my personal life, the Lord is the first thing in my life, and the second thing after the Lord is my wife. Then my kids and everybody else comes later. But my wife is the most important thing the Lord has given me.
Deacon Jose, who was assigned to St. Jerome Parish in Holyoke, and Miguelina raised their children in the church. They are very involved in pro-life ministry, Rachel's Vineyard in particular, the Hispanic Charismatic Renewal, and John the 23rd. 6 years ago, the couple who had been teaching marriage prep felt a calling to start a marriage ministry, Espiritualidad Matrimonial. They hold monthly meetings and retreats like this one last fall. 70 couples from across the Diocese of Springfield took part.
One of the most important things that we do in the group is making sure we have a clear understanding that marriage is not just between the couple. Marriage is between 3, and Jesus is the big part of it. We need to have Jesus in our lives, and within the classes and the group itself, we teach people that Jesus has to be first.
Deacon Jose and Miguelina counsel couples who are not married and living together, explaining the teachings of the church.
Ministry is actually welcome all, with the fine line of, at the end result will be marriage by the church. Since we started the group, we have probably 5 different marriages that resulted after being part of the group, participating in the monthly meetings.
Miguelina says it's important for couples to prioritize Mass even when life gets busy.
You want to play baseball? Church is first. Then we can go to baseball. And once they started growing up, one wanted a baseball, the other wanted a dance, and then it gets complicated. But we sat down, we had talks with them. We have to teach them that the Lord is first in anything that we do.
Maybelline and Tony Burgos took the marriage prep course with the Correas and are now proudly part of the marriage ministry.
We encourage everyone to get closer to God first, to know what is it that He's asking you for, that when you get into that marriage, it's not to try it, it's to live it, and like we say, live it to the fullest, okay, until that put us apart, and then we encounter Him.
Both couples point to the example of the Holy Family, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus in the middle. The Holy Family teaches all of us how to be courageous in our faith and how to trust God, even when things are difficult. Maybelline points to Mary's yes to God and to Joseph's courage in protecting baby Jesus when they had to flee to Egypt and countless other times.
But he shows this Holy Family, Mary and Joseph, to be his parents. So therefore, there's something important in this, right? Through the Holy Family, they're our model, right? They're especially our model for our Catholic families. Faith, they were so obedient to God.
Research shows that marriage rates are on the decline and more than 40% of first marriages end in divorce. But Deacon Jose, Miguelina, Maybelline, and Tony point to one who can turn this all around.
Like all couples, we had gone ups and downs. In the beginning, it was 3 hard years. Our first years were really, really hard. How we made it through, because God was our center.
And their example is inspiring other couples to seek God first and foremost. To find out more, follow them on Facebook. Reporting for Real to Real in Holyoke, I'm Carolee McGrath.
The annual Seek Conference, sponsored by the Fellowship of Catholic University Students, took place in early January. 40 college students from the Diocese of Springfield took part in the conference, where they were able to learn more about their Catholic faith and apply it to their lives. For the first time, the annual Seek Conference was held in 2 locations. The main conference, with more than 17,000 young people in attendance, was held in Salt Lake City, Utah. A satellite conference was held in Washington, D.C. The diocese sent a group to each location. Joe Austin, the director of the Office of Missionary Discipleship, led a group of college students from the Springfield area who are part of the new ministry, Western Mass College Catholics. The group meets regularly at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield to share their love for their faith.
It was an amazing experience. Yeah, the best way to describe it was I felt really at home there.
One of Austin's goals in the Office of Missionary Discipleship has been to build a bridge between youth ministry and young adult ministry. He said the college years are critical and can be difficult.
This is a big transition moment in their life when they're really deciding who they will become, what track they're going to pursue, whether that's in career-wise, vocation-wise, and definitely with their faith-wise.
The conference was a 5-day gathering for the college students to experience spiritual renewal and fellowship. It included Mass, adoration, talks, and entertainment. This year's theme was Follow Me.
So attending this conference was an opportunity to just hear from speakers about kind of our faith and our faith journey, but also to just encounter others from across the country and just to talk with them and to pray with them.
Kayla Wickham, a junior at Western New England University, is a member of Western Mass College Catholics. Attending Seek, she says, was a faith-growing opportunity.
It was my first time out west, so that was awesome to see the mountains. The views are amazing, but it was also really nice to get closer to the people. Some of the people I hadn't met yet from the group, and some of them I had, and it was really cool experience to get closer with them and just experience the faith together.
Juan and Gabriel Gonzalez Diaz are brothers and parishioners of St. Michael's Cathedral. Juan says as a young adult Catholic, the Seek Conference strengthened his faith.
It was amazing seeing the amount of college students that were there. People around my age, all of them with great values, very friendly towards one another, and of course very devoted. Most of them were very devoted, and they left a great impression in me. They made me believe that it was possible for me to also increase in my faith.
Gabriel says his older brother encouraged him to attend, and he is so glad he did.
Being in an environment where everybody around you is just sharing those beliefs in God and sharing those honest values, it changes your perspective in life. It makes you just more hopeful.
Seek 2026 will have 3 locations: Columbus, Ohio, Fort Worth, Texas, and Denver, Colorado. For more information on the Office of Missionary Discipleship, visit diospringfield.org. Finally, last Saturday, despite a forecast for snow, the Office of Youth Ministry of the Diocese of Springfield welcomed a record turnout for the 3rd annual Youth Rally at Pope Francis Prep. There, middle and high schoolers came together for The Path That Leads to You. Nick Morganelli has more.
Pope Francis Prep was busy on the second Saturday night of February with over 300 middle and high school students participating. Volunteers helped make this 3rd annual youth rally safe and successful. During registration, various games kept teens busy while everyone arrived.
These warm-up games were just to get the students ready for the crazy games the youth team had planned for the evening.
Father Stanislaus Atchu, chaplain to the Diocesan Youth Leadership Team, not only joined in on the game excitement, but also for this year's theme, The Path That Leads to You. Katie Corvo, who co-emceed last year's youth rally, gave a short talk relating the theme to her spiritual journey.
We have a path that we're trying to get to heaven, but we also have a shorter path, a temporary path that we can access God in today. My talk is really just emphasizing the power of prayer, the gift of prayer, and just the importance of it in general.
Others from the youth leadership team gave talks as well, hearing the truth from peers about an individual faith journey and personal relationship with Jesus is one element that made this rally so powerful. Another was the blessing of having Bishop Espaillat visit from the Bronx, New York. He is the 3rd youngest bishop in the country, and he had something to say with rhythm.
It's not my message, right? It's the message of Jesus, the message of the gospel. So tonight, all I want to do is bring a message of hope, right? This is the Jubilee year of hope. Romans 5:5, hope does not disappoint. And for young people to know that they're made in love, for love, by love, and to love. The path that leads to you is the theme of this youth day or youth event. And so to help them, to show them, and not just talk about it, but be practical about it. And hopefully we got some good prayer time in today.
Maddie Kervick from St. Mary's High School in Westfield was experiencing her 2nd youth rally.
It's nice going with people from my school. Adoration is, it's always a good place to be, but last year it was also, I remember it being very good. And I guess I'm just kind of looking forward to that experience again.
So it gives them an opportunity to really reflect and be like, what a gift it is that I have to pray. And then Jesus is there and he's like, hey, I'm here, let's pray now.
The path that leads to you, Jesus. Evangelizing with the youth leadership team. For Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
And for more information on upcoming youth and adult events here in Western Massachusetts, we have a link for you at diospringfield.org. And that wraps up another Best of edition of Real to Real. Be sure to follow the latest news of the Catholic Church, both here in Western Massachusetts and around the world, on our news and information site, iobserve.org. There you will find articles prepared by our Catholic Communications reporting team, as well as our partners at Our Sunday Visitor. That's iobserve.org. We are also on Facebook. You can follow us there at Catholic Communications. And before we close, we'd like to send our best wishes to all grandparents, as today the Church marks the World Day for Grandparents and the feast day of Saints Joachim and Anne, the parents of the Virgin Mary and grandparents of Jesus. They are honored for their faith and the role that they played in bringing about the birth of Mary, who would become the mother of Jesus. Happy Grandparents' Day, and I'll see you next week at this same time for another Best of edition of Real to Real. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.